I want to thank everybody for watching Crypto Revolution, where I talk about everything crypto daily. Before we jump into this video, I want to ask everybody to smash that like button. Trying to get a like spike going. 1,000 likes a video. Help me get to my goal. Smash the like button. If you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe to the channel. I'll keep you up to date daily on everything crypto. Jumping right into the market. Today in crypto, sideways. Overall market cap of cryptocurrency, $152 billion. Bitcoin at 53.20. This is a Bitcoin weekly chart, and I want you to focus on this chart. Focus on this idea. Now, here we are. This is the weekly candle. Huge candle close coming in about 5 hours from now on the weekly. Daily candle obviously closing as well. The weekly is what I want to talk about here. At about $5,511, you've got the 200 weekly simple moving average. It's important that this weekly candle closes above that level. If we look back here, remember when Bitcoin fell off a cliff and we dumped from 6,500 down to 3,150? Well, look what happened. The 200 simple moving average was support right there, and the price action bounced, ran up to about 4,100, and then retraced back down to, you know it, the 200 simple moving average. Now, after this, you had a run up to $14,000 Bitcoin. Now, essentially, this was a double bottom. Also, accumulation was happening here. So potentially, is this something that could happen now? Well, for this all to happen, and as far as a bullish scenario goes, we need to close above this 200 simple moving average. Now, there's a bearish MACD cross down here that's been confirmed, and obviously that's a concern. If the weekly candle does close below this level, over time, it's possible that we do move back down to the 3,800, 3,850 level over time. This is the calm before the storm. It's all about to happen. Remember, and I'm going to talk to you about this, there's some hopium at the end of the video, and I've got some important analysis as far as traditional markets go, kind of in the middle of, because all this kind of ties into the overall big picture here. We want to know, what are the markets going to do when they open tomorrow? As far as the United States go. Obviously, Asia's waking up. Same time the weekly candle's closing, so potentially we see some volume in about 5 hours coming into this market. So I'll talk to you guys about having a plan in place going forward, but there's a lot hinging on this weekly candle close. This is a Bitcoin hourly chart, and probably I've spent way too much time looking at this smaller time frame. Sometimes I get stuck on these smaller time frames, and really it's important to look at the big picture. Potentially people are talking about this triangle kind of broke out, and you can just imagine institutional traders or larger traders, trading firms. They're like, hey, retail's drawing this cute little triangle. What are we going to do to trick them and take their money? And so you had this kind of pump, breakout, run up here, retested 5,600, got rejected, and now it's just kind of flatline. Nothing is happening. Everybody's waiting for this weekly candle close. Now, it's this yellow trend line here. It's important to see how the price action reacts right in this area, okay? And that will show some confluence in about 5 hours. Will be right here at this trend line. So kind of looking to see if we get a bounce there for Bitcoin. It's important to know that, let's say you're new to charting, you're new to technical analysis. If you cannot find a pattern, and it's a toss-up, it's like, what is this? What is happening on this chart? What is this? After you get a big drop, there's not a whole lot of market structure to chart. So you have to default back to support resistance levels. Your indicators kind of got thrown off by this big, huge dump to the downside. Everything's just kind of been in shock and chaos, and everything's kind of recovering. But what I want you to notice how valid these Fibonacci retracement levels are. You can see like the key levels, 0.236, as far as the bounce level overhead resistance goes. 5,000, 5,600 right now has been overhead resistance. The price action went up and tapped it and then moved lower. Then 6,100 up here is the 0.5 fib level. So these are bounce ideas. So, it would be within reason to think that we get a bounce up here in this golden pocket between 6,000 and 6,500 as far as, you know, these bounce ideas. But there's some bearish things going on in society, and if the other traditional markets open and do poorly tomorrow, that's obviously going to skew this information. And so again, you get these big moves, and technical analysis sometimes isn't enough because you don't have enough market structure. We don't have enough data. We have a few little candles to work with, and that's it. I've got a cryptocurrency trading group. I've got 6 chat groups where everybody's calling out breakouts, posting charts, working together to trade this market. You got 1,500 sets of eyes watching this market at all times, 24 hours a day. A lot of people aren't getting enough sleep lately, including myself. I post profitable trading setups every single day, and people have been doing amazing. I've got 41 videos in a playlist where if you don't know anything about trading this market at all and you want to learn how to trade, you want to take control of your portfolio, you're tired of taking losses, join the trading group, check it out. You can watch these videos, you'll be making profitable trades. This is HBAR. So I posted previously, I had a couple setups on HBAR. One recently was posted a couple days ago, 2 days ago. It was up about 23%. This person sent me a message and essentially was up about 100%, 101% on the HBAR. They were just a, you know, midterm holder. This person stated, CBC, I've been in your group for 3 months and I'm amazed at how much I've learned. I made $6,900 on your HBAR setup that you've posted. I'm busy, so I just buy and hold for a couple weeks. You've made such a difference in my life. $6,900 is pretty solid. 101% gains out of HBAR. Shout out to John Witt. He said, after being a member for a week, I only wish I'd done it much sooner. You have such a huge resource here. It's amazing. Yeah, we've got this culmination. Everybody's just dumping data and information from all different angles. Shout out to Digital Life. He said, Chris, you made me so rich. How can... Okay, so there's some people... Every single video I get like 3 dislikes right off the bat before there's even enough time to watch a video. And I said, you know, why do these people dislike my videos? Like, they haven't even watched it yet. You know, what did I do? Anyway, so Digital Life comes out on Twitter and he says, Chris, you made me so rich. How can they not like making money? Your videos have made my losses into gains. Enough said. That's it. Period. If you guys want to join my cryptocurrency trading group, you email me if you want to pay in cryptocurrency, cryptobitcoinchris@gmail.com. I'll get you set up in the group today. You get a 20% discount if you pay for 6 months. If you pay for the year now, you get 30% off and an additional month for free. If you do want to pay with a card month to month, you can do so. There's a Patreon link in the description. Guys, remember, the group is cheap. It's not expensive. You could pay for the entire year in a couple trades. It pays for itself. Crypto Fear and Greed Index is at 12. We were down extreme fear yesterday. Today has been really quiet in the market. So here we are. The thought process is this: when everybody's extremely fearful, you counter trade their emotions, right? Everybody else is scared, and you potentially buy. So plant that seed with you. But what I really want to emphasize to you, this is uncharted territory we're working with right here as far as what's happened. This is one of the biggest daily and weekly drops that just happened recently. So I want to see how Monday opens for traditional markets and stocks and Bitcoin. You know, Bitcoin and the stock market are correlated. I'm going to show you that in just a second. This is the crypto market recap. So Bank of England makes an emergency rate cut. Oil drops 31% in worst loss since 1991. Listen to this. This kind of ticked me off. I just hate it. Bitcoin haters, crypto haters. The Better Business Bureau says cryptocurrency ranks as the second riskiest scam in 2019. I read this stuff and I just like, ugh. I want you guys to feel some emotion with this video. I want to bring out some emotion in you guys. And I want you to understand how, like, emotion, we're emotional beings and it can take over, right? You start making these emotional decisions, and probably those people that are hitting that dislike button are disliking on emotion. And what I'm saying is, it's just something that we have to understand and potentially counter trade our emotions. Circle rolls out stablecoin business accounts. Stablecoin business accounts for Circle. Australian tax office cracks down on crypto tax dodgers. Always pay your taxes. Bitcoin loses half of its value in a 2-day plunge. Ugh, I feel like I got kicked in the stomach. Now, This is the Bitcoin hash rate. This was from Glassnode. And you can see that the price of Bitcoin here completely fell off. You know, this is the Bitcoin hash rate has been climbing, climbing, climbing. Now it fell and it dipped when Bitcoin dumped from 6,500 down to 3,150. Okay, hash rate dumped, price rate dumped, and then ran up, ran up, ran up, ran up, ran up, got up here extremely high, and it dumped again with this recent sell-off. Overall, this person, what I thought was interesting about this article was the fact that they came out and stated that the thing that's going on in the world right now that's not a good thing, and it's causing all this panic. Basically, he stated that China, Korea, Singapore, Taiwan show that it's easier to eradicate new cases, a lot easier than they thought. And the goal shouldn't be to flatten the curve, but to smash it. A gentleman that I follow on Twitter, he basically said, you know, everything's kind of getting back to normal in China right now. People are going outside. People are, you know, everything's cooling off. And there was a doctor that I saw. He talked about, you know, how long is it going to take before this normalcy is regained in society? And really, he's talking about, you know, June in America. He thinks everything will kind of be blown over by then. So what does that mean for crypto? You know, do we have some downside ahead, some uncertainty? Are we just going to move sideways? We're just going to move sideways at that point for a period of time. Now, what I want to be very adamant about is stop right what you're doing right now. Pause the video if you have to. There's a ton of good content coming at the end though. Stop what you're doing. Make a plan. If Bitcoin breaks higher, what are you going to do? What are you going to do right now different? If you're holding, you're chilling, whatever, you're just grabbing popcorn. You're about to watch the fireworks for the next 24 hours, what happens. If Bitcoin breaks lower, do you have a stop loss in place? Do you have a breaking point? If we go to 3,800, is that, you know, do you want to ride that price action lower? Make a plan, no matter what it is. If you're a holder, write it down. I had some people reach out to me. They wanted to join the group, and they said, Chris, I sold at 4,000. I thought we were going to zero. I sold at 4,000. That fear kicks in, and it makes you, man, makes you like, just makes you sick. Makes you like your stomach's just churning in knots, and you have something written down in place and just pick it up. Here's what I'm going to do if this happens. If the price starts skyrocketing, am I going to chase it, or do I have a plan in place where, you know, potentially some buy order set? Remember that crypto is a business. You know, you can't make business decisions based on emotion. You have to block these emotions out. If you guys haven't signed up for a VPN yet, I want to recommend PureVPN. I use it every single day. I'm super paranoid when I'm working with my crypto. I want to make sure it's safe. If you want to use Binance, Bybit, BitMEX, any of those, you sign up for PureVPN and you can use any exchange you want. There's 85% off is going to pop up in just a second here. 85% off discount. Just hit that. There's a link in the description that does support the channel. Thanks so much. Extreme fear grips markets despite oversold Bitcoin price metrics. And again, all the news right now, extreme fear, extreme fear. Everybody's fearful. Well, you know what? What happens when everybody thinks something is going to happen? You got to expect the unexpected. But are we there yet? You know, the situation that's going on in the world right now where everybody's panicking, how does that influence the price? A lot of markets are pretty bearish, so let's see what happens. These are the 7 stages of grief. I don't want to spend too much time on this, but shock, denial, anger, bargaining, depression, testing, and acceptance. Where are we at right now in crypto? Initial paralysis at hearing the bad news. Here we heard there's a huge drop. There's panic everywhere in society. Shock. There's denial too. I think a lot of people you're trying to avoid the inevitable. No, we're not going any lower. We're not, you know, this is not as bad as everybody's saying. Are people getting angry? There's bottled up emotion, and you just have to know that this market, trading this market, and technicals, a lot of it's based on emotion. So be sure to identify these feelings that you're having, because everybody else is having them. And it's not about, hey, what should I do in this situation? It's, hey, what is everybody else going to do in this situation? and how am I going to react based on that idea? Because you want to be just a step ahead of everybody else. Okay? And then, like I've talked about previously, you can counter trade the herd, what everybody else thinks. You know, typically the herd is wrong about 70% of the time. You know, if we're first coming to this market and you struggle really bad because you're just not educated on some of the basics, and you're probably wrong 70% of the time, right? So if you counter trade the new people coming into this market, they don't understand anything, you're going to be pretty successful. Anthony Pompliano came out and said the Fed is working on bailing out hedge funds, banks, and corporations. And this is going to help traditional markets and possibly rolls over into crypto. So literally, the Fed has unlimited liquidity. This is all become, they can just edit the numbers in an electronic database at will. Unfortunately, he stated, I've never seen them do that for people's bank accounts. And that's who's suffering most. You know, we had a Discord last night, and it's just amazing to see like how many life has stopped. Like, people aren't going to work. That's a reality. People are getting hit hard financially with this. And so people are worried. And so is this the type of situation where people are going to say, well, let me put the money in crypto. Let me buy a bunch of crypto with it, because I don't know if I'm going to have it to be able to go to work tomorrow. I don't know if my income is going to remain the same. Am I going to buy Bitcoin? If that's the thought process on my mind. Think about how people are feeling right now. Is another Bitcoin capitulation just around the corner? Potentially, it's possible. But the nice thing about this market is you can use a stop loss. You can manage your risk. The technical analysis is not about being right all the time. It's about managing your risk. I really want to see what's going to happen over the next 24 to 48 hours. And I think it's going to shed a light on a lot of the situation ahead. This is Bitcoin, and this is the S&P 500. And again, you can see this yellow line is the weekly simple moving average. The price action bounces off of this and needs to again, okay? This is this wick ran down to the 1 week, the 300 simple moving average, okay? So it's important that obviously that 200 needs to, the price actions, we need to get some buyers. We got about 4 hours, 45 minutes left before this candle closes. We need some buyers. Now, if you look down here, the S&P 500 works the same way. It's bouncing off the 200 SMA, okay? So are they correlated? Yes. You can see clearly on these dips normally happens around the same time. Around the same time. See what happens with these markets tomorrow. Bitcoin just faced a dire rejection at key technical level. Let's just look at this tweet. And so remember this multi-month downtrend. This person is saying, the thing with TA is you can't say, hey, I'm right, he's wrong. Let's let this price action decide who's right. But essentially, you got these bounces off this lower trend line. And what this is showing is that we broke through this lower trend line, and then we came up and retested this. And this is, if this is valid, if this is a retest right here that he's showing, expect more downside. If this is the valid pattern and chart, it's hard to tell. We don't quite have enough data. But if this is valid, we're going to see a move to the downside. Stablecoin demand soars in response to Bitcoin volatility. So I posted this in group earlier. Tether, 24-hour volume, $42 billion. That is just shy of what combined Bitcoin and Ethereum 24-hour trading volume is. You know, you look down here, comparison XRP, $2 billion. That's it. So Tether had 21 times more trading volume than XRP over the last 24 hours. Fathom that. Why is this? Why is all this volume happening? Because everybody is scared and waiting on what this market is about to do. They're in Tether. They're in stable coins. Potentially they're pulling money out of the market. That's why this market cap's been, decimated recently. Now, Bitcoin, hopium. So if this is a valid pattern, this triangle here, potentially we could have bounced at the low end trend line of this triangle. Okay, this could be the bounce. This could be the bottom. Each time we stayed in this triangle, and here it is. This is the bounce. Now, there's the halving coming up, and after the halving, a lot of times you do see a pullback. But you've got a bunch of resistance at about 6,100. And so could we run up there, bounce and head lower after the halving, and then bounce and run up to about 9,000? You know, eventually the possibility here is that we break out bull market moon mission after this. I know people don't even want to hear that. They're like, I'm going to dislike your video for saying moon. People are angry right now. People are upset, and that's okay. It's okay to be emotional. We're emotional beings, but don't take it out on me. I'm just a messenger. You guys decide for yourself. I just want to present the data, the information, the facts, and you decide, right? So again, this, if we do break to the downside here, 3,000 is in the cards, 3,150. If we go, we bounce, we move down here, we could be putting in a huge double bottom. The upside potential of that huge double bottom would be 23,000 over time. I'm saying as far as the next run up goes, and probably going to get some dislikes for that, but I'm just saying these are bullish ideas that are going to take a lot of time to play out, but they're in the cards with these bottoming patterns. If this is the pattern that plays out, I'm going to keep you up to date on all these ideas. Definitely subscribe to the channel, like the video, comment below, hit the bell for notifications. Thanks so much. I'll see you guys tomorrow.